If you ever found yourself stuck in the same cycle of self sabotage where you know what you need to do, but something keeps getting in your way, then this video is for you. So, we often think of self sabotage as something random, something that happens to us, that it happens maybe out of nowhere. But let me tell you this: self sabotage is never random. It's a signal. It's a signal from the universe for us to start paying attentions, where we are shrinking ourselves, where we are silencing our needs, where we are abandoning ourselves out of fear. Self sabotage happens when we allow that inner critic, that inner voice to dictate our actions, our choices, to pull us back into familiar, into the comfortable, even when we know it's holding us back from what we truly desire. And recently, I found myself trapped in that same old pattern I've been through so many times before. It was different this time because I saw it clearly. I saw exactly what was happening, and yet I felt powerless to break that cycle. It was the same thoughts, the same emotions and feelings, the same beliefs playing out over and over and over. And I just didn't know how to break through that. I knew what I should be doing. I knew how I should be acting. I knew what decisions I should be making, but I was really struggling. It took me so much energy to stay present to what was happening and to go against my thoughts, my beliefs, my emotions. Have you ever experienced that before? Maybe like you can see the pattern, you know you've done this before and you're doing it again. You know what you should be doing differently, but for some reason, it's like you're stuck in that loop and you can't break free from it. Repeating the same experiences, attracting the same results, feeling the same emotions, thinking the same thoughts. And it feels like, well, for me at least, like there was two parts. Like one part of me was clinging to the comfort of the familiar, like needing that certain outcome, even though I knew that is not going to serve me in the long run. And the other part of me was craving that freedom, expansion, growth. It was like a soul. Well, it was a soul, my soul telling me there was nothing to fear, that it's all a lesson, it's a test, and the only choice I have is to go through it or to run from it. Do I repeat the old cycle, the old behaviors, or do I choose to do something different? And the disconnect, it literally felt like torture. I felt like I was being pulled apart. That noise in my head, the heavy emotions, the darkness that I was seeing inside myself, despite the beautiful sunshine outside, was so overwhelming. And some days I felt like I was drowning in those doubts and those fears, and the negative talk would get so loud that I couldn't even hear my own voice. And on other days, I just wanted to throw in a towel, to run away, to hide from all of it, to find some relief and way out of the discomfort. Because let's be real, when things get that overwhelming, especially when our emotions involved, the natural instinct is either to flee or to chase, right? So I was watching all of this unfolding. I was observing this conflict, this push and pull dynamic, this two parts of me that just could not agree on anything. And I was trying to stay present to the part that wanted to stay stuck because that was my inner child that needed my attention. And also to the other part, to the part that was my higher calling that's telling me that it's time to break free. And after weeks or even months of going in circles, meditating, reflecting, journaling, drinking wine, talking it out with my mentors, I kind of started having this breakthrough. I've realized something that has changed everything. It wasn't self sabotage that was the problem, it was self rejection. It's not believing that I actually had a power. I was pretending to be okay with things that did not quite sit right for me. I was shrinking myself just to keep peace, not to rock the boat. I was fighting, I was resisting whatever was coming up, my doubts, my insecurities, instead of accepting them as all valid parts of me. And by rejecting myself, I was just creating more of the conflict, more resistance. And that resistance, that conflict doesn't disappear, it builds up. And it starts as like small frustrations or doubts, and little hesitations there and there. But over time, those feelings snowball. And before you know it, You like making decisions from the place of fear rather than from your power. You start acting from the place of scarcity and lack instead of your strength. And that's when self sabotage happens, because when you do that, you sabotage the very things that you want most. You stay stuck and you repeat the same cycle over and over and over again. So, how do you break free from this? How do you release those self sabotaging patterns so that you can finally go after what you want and feel that freedom and peace within yourself? Well, it all starts with self accepting exactly where you are, acknowledging all your fears, all your doubts, all your needs, all insecurities. They are valid part of you, and no longer shaming and blaming and feeling guilty for who you are. That's when you unlock freedom. That's when you unlock power, because they have always been inside of you, but you're too busy fragmenting yourselves, dividing yourself into different parts. It's like, ooh, I'm going to keep this part. I like it. It's the fun part of me. It's the lovable part of me. It's the light part of me. And this one I don't like anymore. It makes me feel yucky. So I'm going to ignore it, suppress it, and run away from it. But when you ignore one part of you, you ignore all of you. And what acceptance allows you to do is to stop clinging to these outcomes, to things needing to be a certain way so that you can feel okay about it, about yourself. And that's how you start breaking free from that self-sabotaging patterns. You stop standing on your way. You just get out of the way, because you no longer have this need to fragment yourself to maybe meet expectations of others, to get the validations, or to people please, because you feel whole within yourself, complete as you are. Yes, with all of this broken parts of you, which are not actually broken. And this is what happens when you do that. You start choosing from the place of power, even though there can still be a little bit of security or doubt, but you're not going to allow that to dictate your choices. You begin to make decisions that aligns with your values, with your goals, with desires. Your actions will then match your decisions, and your life will begin to reflect that. So I want to leave you with a little bit of self-reflection. If self-sabotage is something you're struggling with, where in your life are you self-sabotaging? And very importantly, pay attention to what part of yourselves have you been rejecting or hiding? Where are you not expressing your needs? And can you meet those parts of yourself with more love and compassion? Because here's the thing, those parts of you, whether it's doubt, fear, insecurity, neediness, whatever, they're not your enemy. They are part of your journey. They are part of your story. That's what makes you you. You see, people looking for the purpose, not realizing that purpose comes from biggest insecurities. Purpose comes from things that terrify you, that scare you, your traumas, your wounds. And when you own all of you, all parts of yourself, when you start overcoming these fears, not by rejecting, but by accepting them, you're not just doing it for you. You're not healing for you. You're healing for the entire world. And all of this starts accepting yourself fully, exactly as you are. So maybe today, can you let go a little bit more of that self-judgments, a little bit more of the shame and blame and guilt that you're carrying, and start embracing all of you, and watch how your life transforms. I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.